Good morning, afternoon actually, to all the good humans out there. Thank you again for joining on with the Real Life with Jesus podcast. I want to thank you and I want to bless you today. We actually have a very special guest, awesome guy. His name is Ariel Lopez. Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's such an honor to be part of this, and to be invited to be able to speak.
No, it's an honor, dude. Kind of seeing you grow up. I don't know. I've known you forever.
Yeah.
No.
Let's say. I think you were starting high school, or.
I got to. You were already at the church when I came, and I got there when I was 16, 17. So
Okay.
like back in like 2013 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's been a good 7, almost 8 years now that we've known each other. So yeah, man, tell us a little bit about yourself and like, you know, what you're doing and everything like that, especially with the craziness going on with like all this COVID stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's been. It has been a little crazy. Just like staying home.
Yeah.
Stay safe. From all this. I actually just came back from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Did a little bit of a YWAM.
Yeah.
So it's just been, here.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we're definitely going to talk about YWAM here and what that all is. I think it's one of the coolest things that I've heard about. Didn't even know about it until you and your aunt left to go over there. Pam, who was also on the podcast earlier this year. But tell us a little bit about, Jesus. Tell us about your story with Jesus. Like how you came to know this amazing God.
Yeah. So I first got to know him back when I was 6.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was invited to a church service, and I went with her.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it all started.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, at the time, I didn't really know exactly what the whole thing was about. But I started having this relationship with him, relationship with God. And I just, pretty much grew up in the church throughout this whole time. And that's just been kind of like, it hasn't been obviously like a straight line.
Yeah.
There's been up and downs pretty much like throughout my whole, I guess, like story with Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's awesome. Yeah.
No, yeah. So, like you said, it hasn't been a straight line the whole time. What would you say kind of those moments that brought you back? What was that like? Those moments were like, okay, no, I need it. There's a reason why. Like, what was inside of you? What was going on in your mind? What was going on in your heart that you knew like, I'm not perfect, but this Christ is perfect, and I need to be with him?
Multiple instances actually. So I would say around like 6th, 7th grade.
Yeah.
I went through a period of depression,
Mm-hmm.
like really bad.
Yeah.
I started self-harming.
Mm-hmm.
I almost committed suicide, and it was at that brokenness that God came, and he just met me where I was.
Yeah.
I would cry out because, my parents, they got divorced when I was around 4.
Yeah.
And, during that time of middle school, that's when, you start becoming like a man and start going through changes. And I didn't really have anyone to walk by my side through that. Yes, I have my grandpa, but it's not the same thing. I had a father. So I started blaming God. I got super mad. I was completely like, I didn't want to have anything to do with him.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, it's your fault that my parents got divorced. It's your fault that I'm getting bullied at school. So I don't want any of this. And he met me where I was. He came and he showed me how good he was.
Awesome.
And even so, continuing this, like that was a period of time where, I was broken.
Yeah.
And I became back together. Like, he brought me together.
Yeah.
And then it started again
Mm-hmm.
much later in college.
Yeah. Talk about that a little bit, because I love the testimony you have. It's a testimony to be honored because and what God did like with you, and because you were a part of the youth band and things like that.
Yeah.
And we, just to be real with it, we sometimes we say we're good on the outside, but like on the inside, nobody really knows what we're going through. Nobody knows, like you said, like if you didn't really say it, you wouldn't even know that your parents split. Like even with me, I have a stepdad down, but I talk about my stepdad like he's my dad.
Yeah.
Everybody be like, what do you mean you have a divorce? But so like nobody knows like the true things that are going on with you and what you deal with.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And so touch on a little bit of like, that transition, because you went to a Christian high school, right?
Yeah.
Christian high school. And we went to your graduation and everything. And so talk about that transition period of, because I think that's one of the biggest things that kind of wrecks, that Christian world of ours, is like going, regardless if we went to Christian high school or not, it's just, I always tell people it's easier to love Jesus and stay in your bubble in high school.
Yeah.
But when you get out, it's like a whole different ballgame. It's like going from novice to like the advanced, like instantly. Yeah. But talk about like, that whether it was, you were thinking about it right before graduation, but like from graduation to the, the point where you chose the college you want to go to, because I know that even that was a period of like kind of up there. Talk about that, like what was happening, what was going through your mind, where was God in all of it?
Yeah. So definitely, it was confusion everywhere. It was havoc. Yeah. Completely. My like applications to college and all that, like completely havoc. I want to say. I got accepted into about 20 schools. Yep. And even that process of picking out which one I wanted to go to, that was completely like for like a week or two. I would be like, no, I'm going to FAU, Florida Atlantic University, and then the next week I'd be like, no, I'm going out to New York for school. Yeah. And it was just back and forth. I remember that. I was like, yeah, I got to New York. Yeah. And then there was this school, Grand Canyon University in Arizona. Yeah. And I actually went and visited. I fell in love with the place, and I was like, this is it. This is where I want to come. This is where, I feel like all my dreams are going to finally like come together. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I was like, I was still feeling empty. Like no amount, like even getting accepted into the summer schools did not fulfill me. Knowing that I had the potential to go anywhere I wanted, anywhere in the country, basically, did not fulfill me whatsoever. And it was complete like I've said, havoc, just recklessly, I guess. Yeah. And there was a point where my aunt, she had shown me YWAM. Yeah. I would want to say at the beginning of summer. Yeah. She showed me this organization called YWAM. Yeah. And I felt in my heart, I was like, I think I need to go to this. Yeah. At this point, my relationship with God wasn't straight. Yeah. It was a little bit broken, but I was like, this is gonna help me build on that relationship. So I thought about it. For a summer, or for the summer, and towards the end, that's when I sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, that's when I chose to go to University of South Florida, St. Pete. Yeah. And even that, like getting into that university was a last minute. Yeah. It was. I applied just to apply. I told my mom, I was like, even if I get in, I'm really not gonna go because I don't want to stay in Florida. And then they accepted me, and at the last minute, it was split decision. Because I was so sure I was gonna go to YWAM, and I was like, nah, I'm just gonna stay here. I have scholarships, like everything pretty much is paid. Like I don't have to put barely anything out of pocket. So I'm just gonna go here. It's gonna be good. I'm gonna find a Christian group of friends, and it's gonna be all good.
Gonna go to college.
Yeah.
So I know, and this was summer right after graduation. You came to help us minister at the youth camp that same summer, right? Yeah. Talk about how you felt like you were on the right track, but fixing that relationship with God. But then talk about that. You already got accepted to USF, right? And talk about that. I guess you could say secession of not secession, but the times of where you've noticed things were kind of falling and tripping, because your testimony of what you can share, I'm just wow, there's so many people that need to hear this, that need to hear that there's hope. Yeah. And so just talk about that, because I know you came to help us minister, and it was amazing what happened at the youth camp, and then then you left. You left to go be an adult. You went to go to college and things like that. So talk about that experience, and where or where not God was with you on that through that time frame before YWAM. So from, starting college to right before YWAM.
Yeah, so I left to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
I went there, and once I got there, even that first week, just getting there, they actually had a camp before actual school started, and I went to that camp, meaning I got to move into the dorms about a week earlier.
Yeah.
And just meeting different people, people that I didn't go to high school with.
Yeah.
Those types of people that don't know the gospel, they haven't heard Jesus, that they're living their lives, without that.
Yeah.
And it kind of opened my eyes, not in a good way. It opened my mind to things I thought I would never do.
Yeah.
Obviously, living in a dorm, it's completely different than living back at home.
Yeah.
You have more freedom to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So I just started falling away. I started finding conflicts in my heart where before there weren't any.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Before it was like my family told me kind of what to believe, and I believed that. And yes, there was my relationship, my personal relationship with God.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was a lot of what is me trying to please my family, me trying to please the church that I grew up in, me trying to please the friends that I had at church.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of it. It was a lot of going to church and putting a mask on that, I'm playing in the band.
Yeah.
But when I go home, what am I doing? I'm watching things I shouldn't be watching,
Yeah.
And it was a lot of living that double life. And when I get to college, I was like, oh, I can be me, I'm living 40, 50 minutes away from my house. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And no one's going to say anything.
Yeah.
So during those first weeks, when I would go back home, I would actually get into arguments with my family. I would be like, I would tell them, I believe that there's a God. I believe that there's a Jesus. I just don't want a relationship, I just don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want those, the commandments to rule my life, basically.
Yeah.
I want to live my own life and make my own decisions and my own choices. So I started just getting deep into alcohol, going to parties. I started doing edibles. I started smoking weed and nicotine. That was actually one of the first things I did. By my own vape.
Yeah.
And just do whatever I want because no one was controlling me, no one was watching me.
Yeah. So what do you think brought you to that place of, look, I know there's a God, but I'm not trying to have a relationship with him? What do you think, what happened? What do you think happened that you're that's it, that's what it was? Or a chain of events where you're like, yep, that's what it was. That's what brought me to that place. What do you think that was?
So that stemmed out of, in high school, I started having those thoughts, junior year up until, senior year, I started having those thoughts of, just me wanting to live my own life. It wasn't anything that God did or that he didn't do.
Yeah.
But it was just, I want to live my own life according to my rules, according to what I see on social media, and, I want to do that. Yeah. And my train of thought, and even I spoke about this on my testimony right after camp, was I wanna do whatever I wanna do for X amount of time, and then I'll start living out the gospel, and then I'll start working on my relationship with God.
Yeah.
It was a time of I want to, like I said, I want to do my own thing. I want to go to parties. I want to be with girls and stuff like that. And then after that, I was using the Bible kind of as a safety net, basically.
Yeah.
I was putting time between me and the Bible.
Yeah.
A number of years before I got to this. And it was also a lot of I was hurt in the church.
Yeah.
By people, not by God. And that also drove me to say, I'm trying to do good things here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to, they're supposed to be showing what Jesus is, or who Jesus is.
Yeah.
And what he stands for. And his commandments and his heart.
Yeah.
But I was hurt. you know, and that just kind of led me to, okay, what is this? Like, why, like, you know, like, these people are supposed to be showing me who God is, but they're doing different things, you know? And that's kind of where I felt too. And I think that hurt me because it was showing me who I was. Because I was supposed to be the one showing Jesus' heart and God's heart to the youth kids, but even I was doing other things that I was not supposed to. So that's why it hurt so much, because I would see a reflection, you know, in people. Like what I was doing, I would see in other people. So that all those train of thoughts led me to, I don't want this, you know. I don't want to have anything to do with this God or with the people that are telling me, hey, he's so good, he loves everyone, but yet I'm being left out. You know.
So you made the decision, right? And you basically were like, you know, and I've met so many people that have done the same thing, that they're like, look, I believe in God, I want to do my thing right now. So you're doing your thing in college, right? What was that like? Like, thinking back on it, like when you look at it, like how was that really like? Like, what was it like? You know, you told me before that, you know, some of the parties, some of the stuff kind of went sideways. Like, talk about some of the stuff that, you know, kind of went chaotic, I guess you could say, that was going on with your life and everything like that. I know you spoke about a little bit about your family. You know, when you started going back, it was arguments, and I mean, I know you and I know your family, and that's like something that's not normal to hear. You know, because I know how much you love your family, and you know, that's just, I guess, a testament of, you want to walk away from God, this is what starts happening. So talk about, like, how was college in that I want to do my own thing?
It was chaotic, completely. Like, I do not recognize the person that I was back then. I look back and I'm like, yes, like, obviously it was fun. Like, in the flesh, it was fun. In the flesh, it was like getting drunk until like you passed out, basically. And for me, that was fun at the time. There was like so many times, like that first week of college, that first Thursday, we get caught by the RAs. Drinking. We were just drinking. We got caught, and I had to live with that consequence for the rest of the semester. Not being able to join certain groups because I was on probation with the school, basically. And it was like chaotic multiple times at parties, like not even at school, but like out of school where cops came. We almost got caught. I was just living life without any regards to my future, basically, at that point, even though I was in college for my future. Or so I thought. When I smoked, like the second or third time, we went to the beach, we lit up a blunt, we come back, and my friend, he's always high, or he was my friend, he was always high. He's driving, and we have to get on the interstate, basically, to be able to go back to school from the beach. And I don't know what he thought, but we almost, like, he was taking an exit, and he didn't turn far to the right enough, and we almost hit the division, like, straight on. And those were moments where, like, it was kind of like a wake-up call, where, like, I could have died, and I would be in hell right now. And with the alcohol, like, I would get up in the morning. If I didn't have class, I would start drinking. Because all the parties and everything started leaving me empty inside. And I started getting depressed for, like, I would say there was a reason behind it. At the time, I didn't understand it, so I thought I was being sad for no reason.
Because you thought this was something that you already had dealt with, so you were probably, like, surprised, like, why is this coming back? I can imagine.
Exactly. So I was just like, okay, I'm sad. I'm just gonna drink, feel numb, or be able to feel something. Some days I did not feel anything, even though, like, there was no substance in my body. I would completely just not feel anything. I would fake all my emotions. So days that I didn't have class, I would wake up, start drinking. Days that I had class, I would go to class. I would come back around noon, start drinking, get drunk. And that's pretty much how my semester went.
Talk about, so, and I've always wanted to ask this. So, like I said, you love Jesus your whole life. You decided to I guess you could say backslide, fall into the flesh. We get that part, and nobody. I'm not condemning for that part. It's the grace that God has in this testimony that where it comes to, and we're not even close to even getting to like the amazing part yet.
Yeah.
But talk about your relationships that you have with people. Like, how was that? Like, in the flesh, I love the statement you made because you said in the flesh it was fun because we understand that in the spirit it was like awful. But talk about the relationships you have with people. Like, how were relationships during that time?
They weren't any better than before, honestly. Like me, I've always kind of struggled, not with making friends, but keeping those friendships and keeping those relationships.
Yeah.
Even now, like, I only have a handful of friends that I talk on daily.
Yeah.
And that kind of hit the most because I thought, I'm going to college, I'm going to make a ton of friends.
Yeah.
And yes, I had a very good, it was a very good group of people. Like, they weren't good, but at the time I thought they were nice. And they like, my relationships just did not grow. Like, we would get together to get drunk and get high, and then at the end of the day, I was still by myself some days.
Yeah.
I would just go back to my room and just, I would have no one, basically. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, it was just get together, have fun at the moment, and then just stop.
Yeah. No, yeah, and because I've always wanted, because I've heard stories like, friendships that I made, people told me like friendships that I made when I was just in the world kind of don't stick because they were never there for me in the first place. We just did things just to satisfy our flesh, and nobody was really caring about anybody. Exactly. It was all about, survival of the fittest, care about yourself. Yeah. And so, and that's crazy, you know what I mean? So, but like we mentioned, we're going to get to that best part and talk about like that so you're, and this is all first semester. This is all going on first semester, running with the 12, running with the popo, getting caught, in that first week and everything. So first couple, like in the first week, you say you went into probation and things like that. With that being said, like especially with everything that was going on, do you ever feel like, okay, God's calling me, like that, like talk about that moment where you're like, okay, no, the wake up call, God's calling me. Talk about the events starting to like that roll into that YWAM.
Yeah, so like I said, first major thing I would say was almost like slamming into the wall. In the car, or like the divider, division. And I was like, okay, well, that something that is like, that wasn't good, basically. Yeah. And then I started thinking to myself, like, those times that I was sad and that I was like depressed and just kind of like drinking myself, I was like, what would have happened if I didn't choose to come here and instead went to YWAM or went into a Christian university? Yeah. And
just real quick for everybody, YWAM is Youth with a Mission. It's a giant youth organization. Well, missions organization, not as youth, because we know that there's people there from all ages and even married couples and families. But it's a giant outreach ministry organization that goes all global. They're global. They even have like a navy, bro. Like they legit have boats. They have a fleet of boats that go out and help people. But yeah. So continue on. That's one of the, because we keep saying YWAM, and I'm like, people are probably like, what is YWAM? Yeah. But yeah, Youth with a Mission. Look it up. It's an awesome organization, and they love Jesus with all their heart.
Yeah, it's amazing. But I started thinking to myself, like, what would have happened if I would have gone here? What would have happened if, like, I thought to myself, like, at this point, like, in their course, I would say, like, at the time where I was at, which was towards the end of the semester, I would have been in another country doing my outreach portion. Mm-hmm. And I just started thinking to myself, like, what would have happened? Like, just a whole bunch of what ifs. And honestly, I did not feel like, some people say, like, God, like, I felt him, like, pulling me back, or, like, I felt something, like, I don't think it was in my spirit that I felt anything. I think it was more, like, knowledge. Yeah. If, I know that I'm not doing good. Yeah. But what if I would have been here, Yeah. I wouldn't have gone through all this. Yeah. So I kind of viewed it as a lost opportunity. Mm-hmm. And that's when one of my family friends from Ecuador, I've known her since I was probably like 6 maybe. she comes over from Ecuador. She spends the week here at my house, but I didn't want to go to visit her. Like, even though she's a dear friend of mine, I was like, I just don't want to be home. Like, just in general at this point. At this point, I wasn't home for like about 2 or 3 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm just not gonna go. Excuse me. Actually, the Saturday before, like the day before, I went out to the Ritz. In Ybor.
Yeah.
And I partied.
Yeah.
So that like Sunday, I was just like, I'm not going home.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go home.
Yeah.
But my mom, she texted me. She's like, hey, you should come. Like, she wants to talk to you. She has a few words for you. And I was just like, fine. Like, I have nothing better to do because I was just gonna stay in the room and do nothing. So I decided to go back, like make the drive home. So we get there, like a little bit of small talk, catching up. Then we got to a restaurant to have something to eat. So like we started talking. So it's my mom, my aunt, and this lady, our friend. And we're just kind of talking about, like life and just, again, catching up on like small things, stuff like that. And then she like looks at me and she tells me, she's like, I feel the Lord telling me like that you're supposed to go to YWAM. That you're supposed to go to the world, basically. We're supposed to be in Hawaii right now, doing this.
Yeah.
And she just starts like telling me things about my life and my own internal thoughts that no one knew except God. And not because like I prayed and I told God like, oh, send me a sign, but he just knew, like he knows everything. So she just started telling me like, look, like I know you're broken, like God knows you're broken inside. Just like think about it. She didn't even tell me like, go do it. She was like, just think about it.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like it's something from the Lord. And I don't even think like she knew what YWAM was or still is. So she's like, I just feel like these words, like I'm supposed to give them to you.
Yeah.
And at that moment, like everyone is just like crying, like bawling, like I'm like crying. I'm just like, dang, like you didn't have to expose me like that in front of my family. And that's like, and even still, that night I get home, and I just open up my computer and I start like looking through the web pages again, because I'm like, this is familiar to me. Like I've seen these web pages, but they mean something different now.
Yeah.
So the day after, I decided like on a whim, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna start the application. Yeah. I'm just gonna start it. Like I wasn't even 100%. I was still like, Lord, like I don't want this. I had just gotten like a really good job too at an investment firm. Yeah. And I was just like, I don't know, 19-year-olds are making the money I am. Like, I'm making right now. So I was just like, Lord, like, what is this? Yeah. At this time, also, just to clarify, I changed my major 3 times, or 2 times actually. So I mean, even so, like in that aspect, I was confused. Yeah. In that aspect of.
Yeah, this is all happening within 1 semester.
Yeah, 1 semester.
Like that's that's what I think. That's the gravity of it. It's like, and if I could say this is like when you decided like do that on your own, you just and like the thing is, you knew you were a child of God. You knew you had a calling to serve the Lord, and He was gonna bless you, and one thing led to another, but you decided, I'm good, God. I believe in you, but I'm gonna do my own thing. Yeah. And just to see the confusion, multiple schools that you can get into, all the craziness and chaoticness that you did, partying in the flesh, changing your degree twice to have, you were 1 degree, then another one, now you're in another one. So it's just crazy. So, but yeah, so you were in the 3 degrees at the time, and you're debating YWAM. You're going through the widgets, and what inside of you said, okay, I'm gonna apply.
It was just on a whim. Honestly, like it was just like I'm gonna get started. Like I'm gonna get the application started. Yeah. And we'll see where it goes. Basically. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I remember it was like 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. My roommates were sleeping, and I was just on my computer. And just like thinking, I'm like, okay, like what can I lose basically? So it was just like on the whim, basically. And yeah, so I started telling my friends, my friends, the people that I thought were my friends, and you know, they're like, yeah, go for it. Like they didn't know how I sold it to them. Basically, it was a humanitarian aid organization. It wasn't really a mission, an outreach, like organization. It was more like just kind of like a Peace Corps type thing. And they were like, yeah, dude, like go for it. If that's what you feel like, you know, just go. And I get an email saying, hey, we'd like to schedule like an interview just so we can get to know you, who you are. And at that time, I'm just like, I'm not sure I want to do this.
Yeah, that's when it sunk in, like, wait, what did I just do?
Exactly. So I get the call. It's a Norwegian guy. He calls me. And, you know, we kind of started talking about life and my testimony just a little bit. And that's, I guess, when I realized, like, I need to do this. Like, there's no, like, I have no future staying here. So, yeah, like, that's, and I got accepted into IOM. And even at that point, I was still kind of battling. I was like, am I going, am I not? Am I going, am I not? So, yeah.
So talk about, I love the story of how you, like, the first moment of you got on the plane and all that. Talk about, all right, you got accepted. They say, all right, come on through to Hawaii. You got accepted to go to the, you know, the main campus, I guess you could say, right? The main hub.
It's like the biggest one,
I wouldn't know if you'd say HQ, but like the headquarters of it all, but that's kind of where it's at, where, you know, and so they say, come through Hawaii, you get on the plane, and talk about that. Talk about like going from Tampa to Hawaii and like that, and then that, like those first nights.
So it was definitely tough to come to terms with. Like I said, I had a really good job, had my car. I actually, like, for some reason, I don't even know why, but for some reason, I had like a really good friend, and like we were friends when I first told her, like, hey, I'm going to Hawaii. Like, she was one of the people I could say, like, she had my back through all this. Like, she was the one trying to get me to quit nicotine and trying to get me to quit, like, alcohol, basically. Like, even though she wasn't a Christian, she didn't do any of that, and she wanted me to stop, basically. And for some reason, we start going out. Like, and I'm talking, like, December. I'm leaving at the beginning of January. Like, the first two days of January, I'm supposed to be in Hawaii.
And like, you guys talked about this.
We talked about it, and we're like, okay, like, my plan, like, even so, like, back then, my plan was to go to Hawaii and come back and keep doing what I wanted to do. Like, I wasn't thinking my life is going to get radically changed. I'm going to, like, be face to face with Jesus. Like, it was, okay, I'm doing this, again, to please people. That's where I was coming. I'm doing this to please my aunt. I'm doing this to please my mom. And, like, people at the church. So, I mean, even, it was like that. So I started going out with this girl. So I have a really good paying job. I have my car. I have a girlfriend. My grades were like okay. So like it wasn't me like, oh my gosh, my grades are awesome. I should not be interrupting this. So I remember it was January 1st. In the morning, I had gone out with my girlfriend. We went out to a park. Had like a little hammock date, whatever. And then said bye. And at that point, I was just kind of like, there was something not sitting well with me. I was just kind of like, I should not be doing this, you know? But at the same time, I was like, I should. But like, I shouldn't, I should. After that, I went to family barbecue to like say bye. Also, it was like the New Year, so like celebrating all that. See all my family for like the last time before I go for like 6 months. So I'm like, you know, my family's hugging me. I have aunts like hugging me, just like, I'm so proud of you for doing this. Like, this is awesome. I'm glad like yeah, I'm glad that you're doing this basically. And I was just kind of like, yeah, like, sure, thank you. I'm not the one, like, I'm not excited.
It still hasn't hit you yet.
Yeah, so my 2 boys come, they pick me up from the house, from my family's house, and we drive to Orlando. My family, like, my immediate family also comes with us.
Yeah.
And we're there, and I've known these 2 guys, like, high school, and we got, like, super close. So that was kind of hard to let go too. Of pretty much the only 2 people that I knew had my back all the time. Like, even in college, like, even when I told them, like, hey guys, like, these are my opinions. I'm not doing this Jesus thing. I'm not doing Christianity right now.
Yeah.
I told them, I was frank with them. Like, I was like, I'm drinking.
Yeah.
So I'm smoking. So
yeah. And these are brothers. These are brothers in Christ.
Yeah.
These 2. Yeah.
And they always had my back, and that was hard to let go of.
Yeah.
So I get on the plane, and it's kind of like a mix of emotions because, like, I'm going to Hawaii. I've never been. I've heard it's amazing. I never thought I would be stepping on that state, basically, on those islands. I was like, that was like a dream, like, far off into the distance.
Yeah, let alone do it for Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. I'm like, it's awesome. I've seen, like, Hawaii, like, videos on YouTube. Like, I'm, like, super excited. Beaches everywhere, like, all that. Yeah. On the other hand, I'm like, it's 6 months. Yeah. And I'm going to be in Hawaii for 3, and then another country for 3 months. And, some conditions, like, that we stay at, we're not staying at 5-star hotels. Yeah. In some of these places. So I'm just like, okay, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just thinking to myself, like, what are you doing? It's too late to say no, because you already have the ticket. You're on the way to Orlando. Yeah. You've already paid for pretty much almost all of it, like, the program. And it's not, like, it's really not cheap to say, like, I'm just going to. Yeah,
it's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Look, if the Lord is calling you there, He'll provide, but it's definitely not like, oh, I'm just going to do it because, to do it. No, you're going to do it because either, like you said, you're doing it, but the Lord was really calling you. So talk about that. So you're going to Orlando.
Yeah, so I'm in Orlando, packed completely. Like, we're super late. Like, we're running late. And I'm like, please let the plane just take off without me. Oh, man, yeah. So, super long lines. And in an instant, it was literally an instant because the TSA line was super long. And they opened up another line. Like, I was making the line, and it was probably going to be like a good 20-minute wait. And they opened up another line, and within 5 minutes, I'm going through the TSA agents. They're checking everything. Yeah. Through airport security, basically. Yeah. So I didn't even have time there to process what I was doing, to, like, stand in line for 20 minutes. It was just, they opened up another line, and I was saying bye to, like, I was just waving away my friends, my family. Yeah. And I'm just like, what am I doing? Yeah. So I get to the plane. My flight was Orlando, LAX. I had to do a 10-hour layover in LAX, and then go to Kona, Hawaii. Yeah. So the flight from Orlando to LAX was, like, calm, I guess. I get to LAX and I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I kind of start freaking out just a little bit. Everything's closed because it's an overnight thing. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I need to clear my mind. I look up an Uber to go to Santa Monica Pier. I'm like, okay, like, no one's gonna be there. It's the beach. I'm just gonna chill out for a couple hours, and then go back to the airport. The Uber was $40 one way. I was like, I don't have that kind of money right now.
He's like, nah.
I was like, so I'm like, one way, $40, like, round trip, $80. Like, I don't have that kind of money right now. Yeah. Just to clear my head. So I go into the international terminal of LAX. It's completely empty. And I just sit there and I'm playing my guitar. Like, I have my guitar in hand, and I was like, might as well.
Oh, dude, that's perfect.
So I'm just playing, and, like, nothing's really happening. I'm just, like, in my mind, trouble thoughts. I'm like, okay, like, it was mixed emotions both ways. Of, I need to get better, and I'm not ready to let go. I think that was the thing. Of me still living that lie that I was going to live out this kind of life, this lifestyle for X amount of years. Not I'm not talking months, I'm talking weeks. I'm talking, I want to go to parties and I want to get drunk for years, like, you know? And I was like, it's too soon. It's been 4 months of living this life. Yeah. I'm not ready to let go. I'm not ready to, you know, for this, basically. Yeah. So I get on the plane in LAX, and, you know, I can kind of see a couple YWAMers. That's what we call people that go to YWAMers. Yeah. And you can kind of tell them apart from everyone else, because, like, you know, they're like happy, excited, like the big bags, big like hiking bags, and I'm just like, they're really like, they really feel called. Like, in my mind, looking at them, I'm like, I shouldn't be here. I'm not supposed to be here. Yeah. I didn't feel worthy enough to be there. Yeah. You know. And I get on the plane. We take off, and I'm like, okay, 5 hours over the Pacific Ocean. Yeah. Going to the middle of nowhere, because I think Hawaii is like one of the most isolated places on the earth. Yeah. Like, it's literally in the middle of the Pacific, so I'm like, I'm going there. There's no easy road trip back. Yeah. And, you know, we land in Kona, beautiful water. I instantly fall in love with the place, like, from the plane. Yeah. I, like, see the coastline, and I'm like, wow, like, this is awesome. Yeah. But I still remember, like, touching down and just taxiing, like, the plane taxiing to the gate, and thinking, what am I doing? Like, I start freaking out again. And I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Why am I here? Yeah. Like, I left everything, you know? I was like, I left my job. My girlfriend at the time is still there. I sold my car. Like, even, I sold my car to my grandpa's. It wasn't a huge deal. Yeah. But it was like that was it, you know? Yeah.
You gave up everything.
Yeah. All I had was one suitcase and my guitar. Nothing else. Dang. A suitcase and a guitar. Nothing else. So I get off the plane, and I'm just kind of like, I'm a little bummed, honestly. Like, yeah. On my way to grab my luggage, I'm still, like, bummed. And I see all these people, and I see, like, all the people, like, greeting, like, just asking, like, oh, who's in YWAM? Like, come over here. If you're in YWAM, like, come over here, like, grab your luggage, and then head to the bus. And I'm just, like, surrounded by people, and I'm like, if they knew what I've done, yeah, like, I don't think they would want me here, basically. That's what I was thinking to myself. And I get on the bus, and I meet this guy, and we just kind of start talking about, like, our testimonies. Yeah. And, you know, he's super excited. He's like, dude, I've been waiting for this moment for so long. Like, you have no clue. I've been saving up for so long. And I'm just like, I'm, like, sitting in my seat just kind of, like, contemplating, like, yeah, really? Like, I got called, like, I got accepted, like, 2 weeks ago. You know, the car paid for most of the program. Yeah. Like, you know, some people are really fighting to get here. Yeah. They're really, like, they're struggling to get here. Yeah. And I'm just here on a whim. Like, that didn't feel fair to me. Yeah. I didn't feel worthy. I was like, shouldn't be here. Yeah. So, on the bus ride, I'm like, Lord, like, what is this? Why am I here? Yeah. We pull up, I start, like, getting, like, registered, like, I'm doing all the paperwork and stuff, and I go to my room. And let me tell you, it was completely, like, I've been to a couple summer camps with the church, so I already know what's to be in a room with 7, 8, 10 extra guys. Yeah. For a week. Maximum, like, week and a half. Yeah. This was living with 8 guys. No, another 7 guys for 3 months. I had already lived with 3 guys for a couple months back in college in my room, in a dorm. But I had my space. Yeah. The rooms were big. Here, it was cramped. Everything together. I was like, what am I doing here? Like, what am I doing here? Yeah. You know, like I have a room back home, like my own room, my own space, everything. Like, and now I'm crammed. I get one little stand for my things.
Yeah.
Like the bathroom's completely shared. The door, like the door to the toilet, like and the shower does not have a lock. There's a little hole that you can peep through. I was like, what? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
My world just like turned upside down. Like,
he's like, what did I just get myself into?
Exactly. I was like,
man.
Not ready for this.
So I can only imagine. So it was like bunk bed style.
Yeah, it was bunk bed style. I had to get on top. Like I was on the top bunk because all the bottom bunks were already taken up.
Yeah.
I was like right next to the window. Like even so, like when it rained, there was a lot of wind, and these windows, they weren't like full windows. They were like little.
The shutter ones.
Yeah. So and they didn't close all the way, and there was only a screen basically.
Yeah.
So anytime there was rain, it would get onto my bed.
What?
My blankets would be wet.
Wow.
Like I was just like, what? Like, no. I was so in denial.
Why am I here?
Yeah.
So talk about so you're there. You've talked to these people, and now you're in this room with 7 other dudes, and you're still like, what is going on? Talk about that moment, that service that you were like, thank you, God, for making me realize why I'm here. Like that come to Jesus moment again. Talk about that.
It was a mix between the first and second week that I was there.
Mm-hmm.
The first week, basically, like that first. Okay, so I landed on a Thursday. I had the weekend to myself. We went out to the beach with the guys, like trying to get to know people.
Yeah.
That Monday we started classes. That Monday we had a worship night. At night. Oh no! Sorry, that was Friday. My bad. Friday night we had a worship night, like 6 or like 7 with like my school, and we're there, and we're just worshiping, and like even then, like that's when the Lord started healing things in my heart. Because I was just like, okay, I've done this before. I'm just gonna close my eyes, sing the songs, like it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Someone, one of the staff, they get a word for people whose families have abused substances, whether it's like siblings or parents and stuff like that. My dad was and still is an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I just raised my hand.
Yeah.
And I started like just crying.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, you know, I just completely started bawling out.
Yeah.
Another year she comes to me and she tells me like, you are seen, like God sees you.
Yeah.
Like you are his son.
Yeah.
You're his child. He loves you. That just did it for me. Bawling and crying and continued to cry and cried. And that's when he started working in me. You know, the faults, like everything that was going on was because of my past. Like, yeah, things in the past influenced where I was at the moment. So that's kind of when it started. And I was like, okay, like that opened me up basically to receive. Because before I was like completely shy. I was like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to get this over with.
Yeah. I want these 6 months to fly by.
Yeah, basically. And that first week, that Monday night, we had a worship night. Every Monday night we had a worship night, but that second week, that Monday, we're worshiping as a base, not just by school, but like everyone together with the worship band.
Yeah.
And they start singing this song. The worship leader, he had gone to Africa and on an outreach, and he had written a song in Swahili. And we start singing that song. Like he's like, okay guys, I'm gonna teach you, like you do some kind of movements here and like stuff like that, you dance like this and like that. So we start and just worshiping, like singing the song, and we see all the they had the nations represented with their flags.
Yeah.
So in the middle, you have people like running through the middle of the group just with their flags, and like waving them.
Yeah.
And I stand at the front. 2 things happened there. One, I realized that the God that I have known for the past, what is it going to be, 14 years now.
Yeah.
He was a multicultural God.
Yeah.
He was everywhere. Like, I didn't understand. Like, I knew that God created the whole world.
Yeah.
But that moment, I understood. Like, I knew.
Yeah.
It hit my heart. I was like, all these people, all like different languages, worshiping the same God.
Yep.
And that just made me feel super small. I was just like, oh, but at the same time, that made me feel like seen.
Yeah.
It was like a combination of both.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like this God is like super big, but at the same time, like him being that big, he still sees me.
Yeah.
And 2, I heard him, like, I literally felt someone whisper in my ear, nations, nations, nations.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like, I just stood in awe.
Yeah.
And I started crying.
Wow.
But I was like, okay, God, like, is this what you want me to do?
Yeah.
Like, there was no one right next to me. And I felt right there, it's like, nations, nations, nations.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, God, okay, I'm done fighting this. You're telling me, like, you've been so good to me. Twice have I, and more than 2 times, have I rejected you. I have just walked away from you completely. Like, you've tried reaching out to me. You've tried reaching out to my heart. And I've completely just said, nope, I don't want this.
Yeah.
To fulfill my own desires. And where did that lead me to? Like, I was broken.
Yeah.
I was broken. There's no other explanation. I was just completely broken.
Yeah.
So, that's where it started.
Yeah. So, you've come back. You had your Jesus moment. And I want to wrap this up because I want to talk about YWAM and what that was on a separate side of things, but because I wanted to focus on your testimony and see how 4 months, 1 semester can just, 4 minutes can bring you back. But it took that time for you to realize, I'm just still confused. I want to do it on a whim.
Yeah.
But you were able to follow the wisdom of, godly wisdom of people, hey, this should be for you. You should think about this. And you did it all on a whim, and you still noticed things that were still not right, all the way through. And it took to that moment for you being there to realize you're worthy and you're seen.
Mm-hmm.
Will you ever go back?
No.
Do you see a difference in this life that you have? Because, if it's safe to assume that you found your calling and what God has called you to do, what's going to keep you here? Like, what is it that you know for sure that you didn't have in the past? Like, something that I always say, like, what would have told yourself? But what is it that you know now, or that you hold dear and near, that you're like, I forget satisfying the flesh. I'm here, and I'm here to do this with Jesus. Like, what is it?
He's just been so good to me. Like, he fills my heart completely.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I felt now that I felt before when I was in my flesh.
Yeah.
Like,
So
there are times where, yes, my flesh starts calling me back.
Yeah.
And like, even when I was at YWAM,
yeah,
my flesh was like pulling. Like, even when I had my Jesus moments,
yeah,
and when I experienced the Holy Spirit in like tremendous ways,
yeah,
the flesh was still pulling me back.
No, of course, yeah, because we're not perfect, and
Yeah.
that's the battle we're gonna have to face.
Mm-hmm. And it was, some days I thought like, I'm just gonna go home. Like, I'm just gonna go home. I can't do this. I need to fulfill my desires. Like, I'm still not done with my life, with that life. And it was a daily, like, no,
battle. Yeah.
It was a daily battle and a daily like death, basically,
Yeah.
to my flesh, of saying, no, you have been there and it was not good for you. Like, you know now, it was not good for you.
Yeah. And this is not like an entrapment. This is not jail. They let you, like, if you want to leave,
Yeah,
you can buy a ticket and go right back home.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, you can just book it.
And so I think it's safe to say, and it's just glory to God that you found that the fulfillment was in Christ all along.
Yeah.
And I think, for everyone out there, for everyone says, dealing with something, whatever, there's, your testimony is such a big, I guess you could say, beacon of hope that, people feel like when they leave, there's no coming back.
Yeah.
People have been hurt in the church multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
People have been in your shoes. And so just to have someone bring that out and say, you're doing what God is calling you to do.
Yeah.
I mean, because of everything, you're not there doing YWAM, doing, missions. But missions is up down the street. Missions is across the street. Exactly. Missions is at work. Mm-hmm. And I think what you've learned and what you gained, and we're going to talk about it at another time, because that in its own is like amazing when we sat and we talked about it. But I wanted to spotlight that testimony because God is amazing. Mm. His grace is sufficient, and His grace knows no bounds. Yeah. And I think it's safe to assume we've all been in a spot where we thought we've run so far away, and when we turn, He's right there. Mm. And so I just want to thank you, man. Thank you. It's been an honor to share your testimony here. I want to thank everybody that's listening, and I pray that if you're dealing with anything that we've spoken about, just email us. You can hit up Ariel at Lopez.
Yes.
On Instagram if you have any questions to dive deeper into what he was talking about, because I know the saying is you're one in a million. Well, there's billions of people on earth, so somebody's going through the same things or the certain things that we're going through. Yeah. And know that there's hope out there. Jesus is the hope that we're looking for, and He is the one that He suffices everything. He's like sufficient. Like there's nothing greater that you need more. Once you have put your life in Jesus, there's nothing better. You've realized that, and it's funny to say, but you do come to Jesus again. Like once you've gone away, you've decided to live your life, but you're like, this is messing up, chaos. I remember we were talking the first time, I'm like, dude, this sounds like a lifetime of stuff. And he's like, nah, this happened in like the first semester.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, God is always going to call back His children. And He's always going to have the calling there for you. And you're going to find so much enjoyment in it. And so I just want to say thank you again. Again, thank you. If you want to hit him up, Seb Lopez is ASEB Lopez on Instagram. Hit him up if you have any questions, or you can email or DM the channel. Thank you again. We want to bless you guys and send you off in Jesus' name, and catch us in a couple weeks, because I want to have him back, talk about his YWAM experience and what God actually taught him and what he's using today. And so, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good one. God bless you all.